I want to give a special shout out to all my patrons first. Thank you so much to my Bibliospran, Bibliohowler, Bibliomancer, and my new Bibliomancer, Norbert, for supporting my hobby and passion even more. Hi everyone, Petrik here. Today's video will be another spoiler-free book review, and this will be for A Crown of Swords by Robert Jordan. This is the 7th book in the Wheel of Time series, and apparently this month is really the month where I posted plenty of negative videos. Unfortunately, I kinda have to do this because I want to post every review for every book in the Wheel of Time as I go through it for years. I know that it will take me years to go through this series, and I want to kinda chronicle my journey on YouTube as well. And yeah, I am sad to say, unlike The Fires of Heaven and The Lord of Chaos, this will not be a positive review. I can't believe I'm finally halfway through the Wheel of Time and the slog begins here. If you have heard about the Wheel of Time series, you might have heard that the 7th until the 10th installment of the series are often hailed as the slog portions of the series. Some have argued the slog starts in A Crown of Swords, and some have mentioned the slog starts in the 8th book, The Path of Daggers. I unfortunately will have to agree with readers saying that the slog starts here, in A Crown of Swords. It does not give me pleasure to say this. My determination to read the series was renewed last year when I attempted to read through The Fires of Heaven to find myself calling it the best book in the series so far, only to be topped immediately by Lord of Chaos, the 6th book in the series. A Crown of Swords, the 7th book in the series, was great in the first quarter and the 4th quarter of the book, but the remaining in-between section was mind-numbing boredom. It took me 5 weeks to actually finish reading through A Crown of Swords. 5 weeks on and off reading. This is the longest time I ever spent reading a novel. Initially, I thought the slog would not start here. The story in A Crown of Swords starts immediately after what happened at the end of Lord of Chaos. Yes, it did begin with a 1-hour-long prologue. But after that, the narrative deals with the aftermath of the Battle of Doomby's Wells. And I was so engrossed with the beginning section of this book. I finished reading the first quarter of A Crown of Swords in 2 days. I thought it was going to be a smooth sailing from there, and then it started crumbling from there. Once I reached the first Egwene, Elaine, and Nynaeve chapter, every chapter with them as the POV character sparked either one or two or both reactions from me, anger or boredom. There are no other feelings. No sadness, no happiness, no captivation, just boredom or anger. The plotlines surrounding Ebodar and Ball of the Wind are some of the most boring stories I have ever read, and I supposedly have not reached the worst parts of the Wheel of Time yet, the crossroads of Twilight. But for this book, Matt did provide relief occasionally as he has to keep his promise to run and be surrounded by these selfish and even lusty vultures. I can certainly feel his frustration and anger, but those were not enough to act as a balm to all the raging and dozing spell the Asadai and the woman casts on the reader, or me. I remember last year on Twitter there was a polling asking which fantasy group you would like to befriend, which favorite fantasy group, and many people actually said the Asadai. And to this day, I am so confused by this. I haven't finished reading the series yet, so my opinion might change, even though I do not think it will happen. But my god, the Aes Sedai is a group of awful and self-righteous people. They are essentially villains as well. This has been established in the past 6 books, and even more in Lord of Chaos with their insane treatment of Randall Thor. And it is established even further in this book. Right now, I have zero idea why people would want to be friends with them. And honestly, this feeling is not exclusive to the Aes Sedai. It gets even more ridiculous thinking how the 3 crazy Powerpuff Girls, Egwene, Nynaeve, and Elaine, especially Nynaeve, can be so mean to their friend. Throughout the book, Matt is surrounded by women who never cease to do and say atrocious things to him. Despite this, he still tries his best to make sure his supposed friend, they are not. This is just what Robert Jordan said, but nothing in the text ever indicate that they are friends. And Matt is still trying his best to make sure they are safe from trouble. Egwene is boring, Elaine is boring, and Nynaeve is an embodiment of absolute wrath and self-righteousness. Matt tried hard, really hard to actually save these ladies. And still they acted as if they were incredibly competent even when they were not. And without spoilers, no real friends would ever ridicule and blindly accuse Matt for the horrible assaults that he received in this book. And Nynaeve, I am just speechless by how infuriating this character can be. I took a break from the series for a few months before reading A Crown of Swords, thinking by doing this, I would be able to tolerate their antics and insanity better as I did, like in The Fires of Heaven and Lord of Chaos, but I failed. The Asadai and the three Powerpuff Girls aggravated me way too much. Nynaeve's thick-headedness has reached a new height in A Crown of Swords that not even Wolverine's adamantium claw can pierce the hardness of her brain. Many readers who dislike Nynaeve have told me they grew to like her by the last few books of the series. And I look forward to reaching that point. Believe me, I do. What annoyed me further about the woman character in the series is how they all felt like caricatures. Very few exceptions aside, it felt like Jordan prepared bullet points on how infuriating women should behave in his books. Then he made them all follow these bullet points. And the result, the women in this book, the women in the series are barely distinguishable from one another. No distinctive voice was given, and their personality, all of them revolve around one trait: hate and blame men for everything. I get it, finding ways to cooperate, overcoming miscommunication is one of the key themes of the entire series. But these characters, some of the men too, did not act like real people. And don't even get me started on the sniffing, the constant sniffing. The women in this book and series constantly sniff so loud as if they just lost their sense of smell due to COVID-19. And the book lacked a coherent focus on what really matters in the story. There were too many Asadai too, and none of them ever felt important. I finished this book 2 weeks ago and I forgot their names already by now. This is a book that centers around political intrigue, and yet these characters, they endlessly bicker about nothing consequential all the time. Even Katsuan, an oddly completely new character introduced in A Crown of Swords, has a more distinct and intimidating presence when compared to the Aes Sedai in the series. It is odd because she is supposed to be a legendary Aes Sedai, but she was never mentioned in the past 6 books. This might not be the same opinion as I move forward with the series, but at this moment, I surprisingly like having the dynamic that Katsuan brings into the story. But enough ranting. As I said in my review for The Fires of Heaven and Lord of Chaos, Min seems to be the only genuinely kind-hearted woman in the series so far. I am happy she appeared relatively frequently in this book. Min seems to be the only character that does not drive Rand insane, and I appreciate having a character like her so much. As you can probably tell from my review of the past 3 installments, my investment in this series lies heavily on Randall Thor and Matt's POV chapters. These 2 characters greatly enhance The Fires of Heaven and Lord of Chaos for me. I know it is shocking that in a series with so many characters, I found only these 2 POV characters, along with the Ashaman, the Forsaken, and the world building, to be the only anchor I have with the series. Well, and the fact that Brandon Sanderson finished the series. But it is the truth. The less we have Rand and Matt in the lead, the less invested I am in the book. Randall Thor's struggle with his role as the Dragon Reborn and the madness threatening to consume him never gets old. And Matt's last chapter in this book was an intense cliffhanger that increased my excitement to read the next book soon, even if I know it won't be for a few months. In the end, A Crown of Swords was a vast downgrade from The Fires of Heaven and Lord of Chaos. I wish it wasn't the case, but it is. This is one of the weakest books in the entire series so far. It is such a shame. I cannot emphasize this highly enough. The Wheel of Time is a series with incredible world building and lore. These are included in the narrative. And I get so pumped up every time I think or read about the scope of the world, the conflict, and the prophecies that Jordan has implemented into his books. As I said, Rand and Matt remain a favorite of mine, and I certainly look forward to reading the continuation of their story and development. their character development. Unfortunately, the greatness of the Wheel of Time, especially in this book, is plagued by many glaring issues like the one that I just discussed earlier. Many frustrating and glaring issues. Although I found the first quarter and the last quarter of this book to be relatively page-turning, I was also disappointed by how the long-awaited confrontation in the final chapter of A Crown of Swords ended so anticlimactic. The battle and the chapter itself were so cool, but the way it ended, they felt so anticlimactic. I wish we get more scenes designated toward building momentum leading to this kind of pivotal battle instead of verbose description and women being angry and bickering about insignificant matters for hundreds of pages, dragging the pacing extensively. I mean, I think it's like half of this book can actually be cut out from the book and it won't actually matter to the book. Well, actually, it would matter. It would increase the reading enjoyment of the book. So yeah, I think I will have to take 4 months of break before reading the next book in the series, A Path of Daggers. I sincerely hope The Path of Daggers will be better than A Crown of Swords, but I will not put any high hopes on this notion. If it happens, then it's good. If it doesn't, then well, I predicted it. I plan to read until the 9th book this year, but we will see whether that's achievable or not. After all, a man can plan, but the wheel weaves as the wheel wheels. So that's the end of my review for A Crown of Swords, the 7th book in the Wheel of Time series. Not gonna lie, I am a bit terrified of reading the next books in the series. I still have I think supposedly 3 books of Slog installments of the Wheel of Time to get through before I get back to the greatness of the series, which is Robert Jordan's final book, A Knife of Dreams. I definitely won't be able to get to Knife of Dreams within this year. I think that will happen next year. But yeah, I apologize for posting like 3. I think it is 3 videos, 3 negative videos now this month, and I really hope I will be back to my positive videos for the rest of the month. If you have read A Crown of Swords, do let me know what you think about it, and do you agree that book 7 until book 10 are the Slog portions of the series? As always, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for your support. Bye bye. Lastly, I want to say thank you so much once again to all my patrons who keep on supporting me.